Yeah, I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So in my whole process so far of deconstructing religion and reconstructing what I think to be truth, or what, finding out what is that truth, there's been plenty of things that have died. Plenty of things in this entire process that have died. Things that have died and have kept dying. And for me, and for a lot of people that have gone through this and that are going through this, it feels like God is dying. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that then the possibility that the perspective that I have and that other people have gained could be the wrong perspective. And so our perspective, our philosophy, our ideology of who or what we think God is could possibly be getting in the way of the truth of his possible existence. And something I get asked a lot is about this Bible verse. It's in Colossians. It's Colossians 2:8. That do not be deceived by philosophy, and philosophy that will deceive you. And so I decided to do some more research on that verse specifically. And come to find out that verse, not surprisingly, has absolutely nothing to do with philosophy for what we know and understand it today. The reason why Paul wrote that letter to the Colossians people was because they were creating false ideologies and false philosophies of who God was. And they started, teaching, Gnosticism. They started teaching worship of angels and Jewish mysticism. And it all completely clouded them and all completely blurred everything from who God really is and who Paul said God really is, who Christ really is. And so he was writing them to correct them in these things. And funny enough, the word philosophy that he used there actually stands, it's not philosophy as we know it today. It's everything I just mentioned and arts and sciences. And so 4 verses before Colossians 2:8, he says, don't be swayed by persuasive arguments. And I look at this spectrum, this scale of theism and atheism and, agnosticism in the gray area and in between. And, there's these arguments that apologists make on the theism side of this is true, this is reality based on science, based on history. And the same exact thing is done on the side of atheism. And I think that's exactly what Paul was talking about, where he's saying you're reducing God to history and science instead of embracing the mystery of who God is. And he explains in the previous chapter 1, verse 27, he says that mystery is Christ in you. like, what does that mean? How is God in us? Well, I don't know. But so many people will try to reduce it and try to make sense of it through science, through historical evidence, through these things that make sense, because they want so bad to make sense of it all instead of just embracing the mystery. So in this deconstruction process, our ideas, our philosophies, our man-made religions of what we've come up with, our ideas of who and what God is, needs to die. And a lot of people are scared of that because they don't know it, but that's all they have. That is their God. I know that was the case for me, that it was like when I look back, I'm like, I didn't know God as a being. I knew him as an idea, and I could elaborate on that idea. I could revelate on that idea, but I never actually encountered and experienced what that idea said that it was, which was unconditional love. And that experience of God in you and around you, it's something I never felt. But I know in order to feel that the God that I knew, the ideology that I made up in my mind,
One giant leap for mankind.
it needs to die. It needs to die because if there is such a thing, if there is a real thing that is God, if there is a real being, a real person that is God, then whatever idea or philosophy, religion, science, history, whatever backs that up, whatever makes the most sense of me, that perspective will always get in the way of the mystery that God lives in us. Whatever that means, whatever that feels like, whatever that is, they're going to get in the way. So with this deconstructing process, I'm now in a place of all of my ideas, all of this thinking, all of the science, all of the philosophy, it needs to die. And I need to embrace this faith, this dark night of the soul. If God is real, then that might be where I am. But if God isn't real, then I'm deconstructing all of these religious ideas that need to die. But that's why I'm on this exploration of spirituality and exploring what that mystery is of God living in us. And I've been on this parking garage so many times. I've had this parking garage in so many of my vlogs and my videos. And the thing is, I don't know. It's one of those things where I come to the top, I observe, and then I go back down. I come to the top, I observe, and it's this constant. It's like this I don't know, it's this wandering where it's like every time I get to the top and I look out, there's this beauty that I see, and I just love being on rooftops and love, this thing that I see in this the nature and the city and the lights and all of it. And then I come back down, and it's I'm grounded. I'm back on earth, and it's like I keep wanting to come up here to look, to experience, to embrace, and it's one of those things where I can't put my finger on it. It's just like it's beauty, it's nature, it's the city, all of this stuff, and it's this somewhat of an experience that takes place that I can't put words to. And I tell people that I like coming up here. I tell people I like rooftops. I like being up here. I like being deep in thought and looking out into whatever is here, whether it's a rainy day, whether it's foggy, whether it's snowy, whatever. I'm just experiencing and embracing, but I can't quite, when I come down, I can't quite put a finger on it. I can't put words to it. And I think people do the same thing if they have experienced some ounce of God or who He is, that they try to explain it through history and science, but they reduce it for what it actually is. So what is it? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know what it is. But I'm determined to find out. If there is something there, I'm determined to find it.